Over the years, a lot of people have started wearing a lot less clothing than you remember from when you were growing up on the climate-controlled stratospheric. Definitely a lot less than in the holovids you brought from Earth. Rex, though, Rex has really acclimated to Rotumna's hot, sultry weather. Dude, put a shirt on.
Are you kidding me?
He asks, throwing his arms wide.
First, it's hot as balls out there. I work outdoors and... Ooh-wee. No joke, I'd take off more if I could.
He cranes his head up to the sky.
Second, I like the feeling of the sun on my skin. After 15 years in a sunless tube hurtling through space, I want to soak in as much as I can. It makes me feel great.
Rex laughs and knocks himself into your shoulder.
I think our bodies are meant to live this way. Don't even get me started about pants, bud.
It's hot and humid inside the geoponics bay, making your clothes stick to your skin as you look around for Cal. Eventually you see him, his back turned to you as he lifts bags of fertilizer into a wheelbarrow. You call out to him as you approach, and he turns to you with a beaming smile.
Sol!
He greets you.
I was hoping I would see you today.
As you open your mouth to respond, you hear a quiet crack and a hiss from nearby.
Oh, bud, watch out!
Cal says, stepping between you and what you realize, too late, is a humidity sprinkler. Cal laughs as he's blasted by a cloud of mist. For one perfect moment, he looks as if he's been outlined with 1,000 rainbows.
Ah, dip.
Cal whines, smiling as he shakes out his hair and flips it back over his shoulder.
I should have let you take that one, but your clothes would have gotten wet.
He stands up straighter as your gaze passes over his body. He's really grown into himself is the thing. Before your eyes, a droplet of water bravely winds its way from the rise of his chest and down the rippling muscles of his abdomen to where it disappears into his shirt, tied around his waist. Cal tilts his head, his smile turning a little teasing. He flexes his bicep at you.
Got you looking.
Of course I am! Have you seen yourself? Cal's face goes completely red as he laughs and drops the pose.
Geez, Sol.
He says, ducking his head. You can just barely see the edge of his smile.
You can't just say things like that.
He scuffs the dirt, rubbing the back of his neck bashfully.
He
starts, then laughs again. His smile turns soft.
I like your hair. It's really pretty.
You really caught him off guard, but he doesn't seem to mind. Cal leans in.
Can I tell you a secret?
He asks.
I'm not actually too hot in here. My enhancement means I'm always the right temperature. I don't even sweat. I just like taking my shirt off. Like, beating the crap out of each other and playing a soldier isn't the only way to get a rocking bod, you know?
Oh, you know. You know really well. You spend an enjoyable afternoon helping Cal deliver bags of fertilizer to every corner of the hydroponics bay. When the job's done, he claps you on the back. Oof, he's as strong as he looks. Cal chatters at you about his plans for the rest of the week as you leave the hydroponics lab. The relatively cooler, drier air of Rotumna hits you like a slap, but of course, Cal doesn't seem to look bothered at all.
Race you to the cafeteria.
He teases you before taking off down the path. You yell and run after him, causing a ruckus that makes a few adults shake their heads fondly at you as you tear through the colony side by side. You hear a commotion over by the geoponics domes, the kind that makes you drop your shovel and sprint over there. There's a crowd at the entrance to the domes. Governor Lum, Rhett, Cal, and a handful of agriculturists form a semicircle around the entrance, looking up at... Oh, no. It's Socks. She's perched over the door, her back arched with fear as her great body grapples up the side of the geodesic dome. You can hear the glass cracking under the strain. She's clicking her teeth and emitting a scared, mournful howl from deep in her belly. Cal is between the mob and Socks, his arms spread wide.
Please, don't hurt her,
he cries.
She's my pet. I promise she's not dangerous.
It's an alien monster!
Lum snarls.
It's not a pet, it's the enemy! Chief Rhett, I command you to destroy it!
Rhett levels his laser rifle at the dilly pillar. Wait! All eyes turn towards you. Governor Lum and Rhett are twin avatars of fury. Lum red-faced and blustery. Rhett calm as he lowers the muzzle of his rifle.
Why the hell should I wait?
He says, icy.
Do you have a better idea?
Socks is trained, I can prove it! You push through the crowd and stand before Socks, who looks down at you with curious affection. You raise your hand and she chitters and shakes out her fringe. Socks, down, you command. And Socks obediently slinks down from the geodesic dome. She circles her great body around you, watching you intently. Everyone takes a few steps back from the huge dilly pillar. Sit, you continue, and the crowd gasps as Socks leans back and pulls her front half to its full height, towering over your heads. Lie down, you order, and she flumps to the ground, spraying gravel and dirt at the crowd. Roll over, you say, making a rolling gesture with your hand, and Socks writhes until her many, many feet are wiggling in the air. She looks up at you, upside down, her mouth lolling open in something like a smile. One more trick, you say, pointing at Lum. Socks, attack! Socks flips to her feet with alarming speed and snarls, charging towards Lum. Everyone screams and scatters except for Lum, who freezes and cowers where he stands, and Rhett, who raises his rifle. Stop, you command, and Socks stops dead in her tracks, her face inches from Lum's face. Her breath wafts over him, rustling his hair. There is only shocked, still silence. Lum's mouth quivers with fear, and then confusion.
What are you waiting for?
He commands.
Shoot it!
For a few tense seconds, you worry that Rhett will pull the trigger. The moment passes, and Security Chief Rhett slowly lowers his rifle.
That's incredible,
He says.
You have this monster perfectly trained. Does it hunt? Will it follow directions at the expense of its own safety?
Rhett turns to Lum.
We could use this creature.
He says.
It may be useful in defending the colony.
Only for defense.
Cal pipes up.
She's not a weapon. She's a living, breathing animal, and she has rights.
Lum sets his jaw.
Fine.
He says, backing away from Socks.
Rhett, you're responsible for this creature. I'm done with this.
He turns on his heel and stalks away, muttering under his breath. Cal whoops and runs over to Socks to throw his arms around her neck. She trills in relief and taps her many feet against the ground, her body rippling like a wave.
Soul, thank you.
He cheers, then laughs as Socks sweeps him off his feet. The crowd disperses, though some hang around to watch in wonder as Cal plays with his dilly pillar friend. It's your 17th birthday, but it's not just your birthday. Quiet is a time of new growth, a celebration of life and hope. Not for just this year, but for humanity's presence on Vertumna for years to come. You and your friends are the symbol of that hope. Quite literally, you are the future of humanity. As you're all beginning to take your places as adults in the colony, the council has decided to throw a party in your honor, the Vertumnan Youth Ball. Marz is organizing it, of course. You get an embossed invitation on 'real' paper, slipped under your door. I guess I could go. 'Cause I don't have a You slip into some party clothes and head over to the lounge to celebrate, well, yourselves. And yourself, specifically. It is your birthday, after all. The lounge is all decked out. The decorations look expensive. Must have taken a lot of nanoprinter creds. Your friends are transformed too. Everyone has dressed up, and looking like the young adults you're becoming. You can hardly recognize some of them. Marz catches your eye and waves, her bangles jingling joyfully. She looks like a model from her holomags, every inch of her primmed, painted, and perfumed.
So, happy birthday! I'm glad you could make it.
She says, over the steady thrum of the music.
Drinks are over there. Make your song request to Congruence and take off your shoes.
You look down at your boots, then back up at Marz skeptically. She rolls her eyes and does a little bounce.
Sock hop. Just like Earth. Duh.
At the refreshment table, Cal is stuffing his face with party food, and Rex shoves 2 glasses of punch in your hands.
Gotta stay hydrated.
He says, pouring himself another glass.
We'll be sweating it out, one way or another.
He winks at you.
Don't let them fool you.
Tangent mutters, joining you. She smears a glob of something pink and meaty looking on a cracker.
It's a well-documented phenomenon that people inexperienced with imbibing alcohol will begin to act as if they're drunk, even if they're completely sober.
To Rex, she adds.
I mean, of course, that I am not going to suffer any bad behavior.
Rex grins as he pulls a flask out of his vest and pours a healthy addition to his glass.
Who says it's gotta be an act? Let's get a little loose. Come on, it's a party.
The music changes to something with a fast pounding beat. Rex throws his head back and howls.
Ow! It's time to dance!
Dance! You, Rex, and Marz take to the dance floor. After a while, Moni follows you, pulling Vace behind her. You all dance until it feels like your heart is going to burst. From excitement, from exertion, and from the sheer joy of throwing yourself around the room with your friends. Nomi, who's playing DJ with Congruence, spins up something a lot slower, more romantic.
Grab a partner and pull them in close,
They announce dreamily.
or whatever distance you both feel comfortable with.
Everyone giggles awkwardly and shuffles around, feeling the intangible friction of teenage politics. Who dances with whom? Who makes the first move? Talk to Cal. Cal grins and holds you at a respectful distance, his strong shoulders forming a natural dancing frame for your arms. You're a little embarrassed that you're so sweaty. Cal never works up a sweat, but he just laughs and compliments your natural glow. On the dance floor, you bump into Moni and Vace, who have stopped dancing and skip directly to sucking Vace. Cal rolls his eyes. After the slow songs, Nomi spins Congruence's music library to something with a little more bounce to it. The dance floor once more floods with bodies ready to gyrate the night away. But the tunes are abruptly interrupted by Governor Lum's Herespeak hijacking the feed. He strides to the stage, flanked by Security Chief Rhett. Everyone on the dance floor whines in unison at having some buzzkill adult stop the music, but Lum just raises his hand and smiles indulgently.
Look at all of you,
He says,
young pioneers. I look at you, and I see the future. Not just of this colony, but of all humanity.
You catch a few people rolling their eyes. You've heard this before.
Rhett here. Good man. A real good man. Really, the best of the colony. Shared this poem from a great Earth poet.
Lum continues.
Now, I'm not one for poetry myself, but damn if it's not something I want to share with you kids tonight. On the eve of something really big.
He clears his throat and reads from his hollow palm.
We cannot tarry here. We must bear the brunt of danger. We, the youthful, sinewy races, all the rest on us depend. Down the edges, through the passes, up the mountain steep, conquering, holding, daring, venturing as we go the unknown ways, pioneers, oh pioneers. We primeval forests felling, we the rivers stemming, vexing we and piercing deep the minds within, we the surface broad surveying, we the virgin soil upheaving, pioneers, oh pioneers.
Grumble and hiss. This is bullshit. Rhett looks a little pained, but Lum continues.
What do you think that poem means, kids?
He asks.
Does it mean we should sit here in our colony, politely waiting for this planet to make a space for us?
He clenches his fist evocatively in the air.
No!
He exclaims.
It means we need to get out there. We need to grab Vertumna by the balls and make it respect us.
He points to you specifically.
I need you, the next generation, to lead the charge. This is your planet, and you're old enough now to defend it. I'm asking all eligible fighters to join squads massing at expeditions, to get out there and attack those monsters where they live. We're taking the fight to them. No more hiding behind our wall.
To your left, Vace and Moni lead the cheering that erupts. Lum and Rhett leave and the music spins back up again, but only a few die-hard partygoers still want to dance. Everyone else has broken into small groups to discuss the announcement. You are angry.
This is bullshit!
Cal exclaims, causing a few heads to turn.
They're not even gonna try to figure out why the animals are attacking us. They're just gonna kill, kill, kill!
He waves his arms over his head.
Aren't we supposed to be better than that?
Dis clearly agrees, though much more quietly.
They don't even know what's out there.
He mutters.
They have no idea what they're up against.
The party fizzles out as everyone drifts away from the lounge. You return to your empty quarters, your birthday forgotten. You've always been told the colony was safe. Now, you know that time is over. You leave the front gates and see Dis talking to one of the senior surveyors. He listens intently to their instructions, and the surveyor hands him a satchel of instruments and claps him on the shoulder before walking away. Dis turns to you.
Hey, Soul.
He says. He hikes the satchel on his shoulder and gives you a shy smile.
It's still kind of weird to be allowed to be outside the walls.
Remember when we used to sneak out? Dis's eyes crinkle at the corners.
It was so easy to avoid, Chief Surveyor Tonin.
He says, wistfully. He ducks his head.
Too bad he's dead. He was really nice to me.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen? Dis looks up to the sky with a thoughtful look.
There's this big rock in the western ridges that's almost totally flat on top. When I get near it, it makes me feel happy.
He smiles.
It's so strange. And it's really hard to leave. The first time I went there, I laid on top of it for so long that I almost missed the transport back. I know it's my job, but I haven't told anyone about it yet.
He says.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's almost like it wants to be kept a secret.
Neat. I won't tell anyone. Dis looks pretty busy. So you say goodbye and let him get back to his work. You'll have to let him keep some of his secrets. For now. Tang flags you down in the hallway.
Oh, Soul, do you have a moment? You go out on expeditions sometimes, right?
She asks.
At least far more than I do, or would ever wish to. So, would you mind doing me a favor?
Depends. What is it?
It's a small thing, really. And I'm to understand it's not terribly dangerous either.
Tang replies.
I simply need you to bring me some hot-eye eggs the next time you come across a nest out there. I would ask this, but, well...
She makes an evocative, dismissive gesture. Why?
For science, obviously.
Tang replies.
It's on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Just bring me some eggs. Or you can tell the chief engineer why you're holding me back.
I'll keep an eye out for them.
That's all I ask.
Tang replies, primly.
They're quite common, if the reports from the foragers are to be believed. They tell me that they commonly find nests in the Valley of Vertigo. It's positively lousy with them.
You report to the expedition's tent to find not just Utopia, but Security Chief Rhett and Vace as well.
I just can't spare any more of my people.
Utopia's explaining to them.
You've already pulled almost all of the foragers, and we're already running skint crews in the ridges as it is.
There's one person you can spare.
Rhett replies, turning to face you.
Hello, soul. How'd you like to transfer into one of my hunting parties? Utopia tells me you're one of her best explorers. We could use someone like you.
He indicates Vace.
I need someone who can keep up with this one.
Vace puffs his chest out proudly. I would never kill a living creature. Vace scoffs.
Even if it was trying to kill you, I knew your strato kits were soft. I didn't know you were suicidal too.
Not everyone's cut out for life or death situations.
Rhett says, then turns to you.
You know, Soul, it's not all killing.
He continues.
Sometimes it's about tracking and identifying dangerous creatures before they reach our walls. You wouldn't necessarily have to kill them.
He holds up his hand.
But you don't have to decide just yet. Talk to Utopia later if you change your mind.
You come across a veritable feast of berry bushes. Gloopy, sagging bushes with enormous purple berries. They look delicious. Research them first. Oh, these purple berries? They're not even in the Holopedia as berries. They're some kind of explosive seed pod. You take a few steps back, careful not to set one off. Set them off from a safe distance. You shield yourself behind a tree and throw rocks at the bushes until, with a satisfying pop, 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 the explosive berries begin to trigger in a chain reaction. Each burst sends seeds flying in all directions like shrapnel, setting off nearby berry bushes. You then carefully cut a path through the thicket and continue on your way. Something about the ground here draws your attention. It's oddly lumpy. What's up with that? Scope it out. It's a potato minefield! Underground, the recent rain has swelled the young melons to bursting. You better watch where you step or you'll end up knee-deep in potato juice. The good news is, they're tasty. Enjoy a break. Most of the potato aren't ripe yet, but you'll find a good one and tap into its membranous rind. Inside, its juice is sweet and cool. You relax here for a while, sipping fresh potato juice and spitting out its seeds. Delicious! A curious Vricky blocks your path. It's acting strange. It keeps scurrying up trees and hanging upside down to get a different angle to look at you, then dropping down when you try to pass underneath. It may be small, but it's at least attempting to be intimidating. That must mean something. Approach it. The Vricky runs up your leg! It's a giant spider thing and it's got weird tentacles and... Get it off! The urge to dance around and shake it off is almost uncontrollable, but you manage to keep your cool. The Vricky tastes you with its tentacle feeler legs, but doesn't look interested in causing you harm. It pokes at your backpack trying to get in, then gives up and scurries off. You come across not just one Vricky, but a whole swarm of them. Mostly just baby ones about the size of your head. They are all amassed around a massive tree scurrying up and down the trunk. When you can see the tree itself under the swarm, you notice it's the same pale pink as the baby Vricky. Its tentacle-like roots meander a fairly large distance before plunging into the ground. When the Vricky see you approach, they get agitated. And they look hungry. Definitely hungry. Like dozens of hungry grapefruit-sized furry pink spiders. The stuff of nightmares. Fight them. Well, that wasn't so hard. You smack a couple of them to the ground, and the rest scuttle up to the boughs and hide there. You puff your chest out bravely and walk on. Your path is blocked by a massive 8-legged xenofauna, something between a spider and a squid and a bear? It's in a rage, grunting furiously and bashing itself against trees and rocks at random. You duck and hide as it glares in your direction, its breath heaving and dozens of eyes gleaming with madness. It's the same soft pink and purple you recognize from the multi-legged vriki that live in this area, but so much larger. Could this be a related species? Sing to it. This is a strange approach, but you've seen it work in vids. Sometimes, music can soothe the savage beast. You sing a lullaby and the great beast looks at you with curiosity. Eventually its eyes drift closed and it settles down, tugging its many legs underneath it. It must have been very tired to begin with, like a toddler who skipped their nap. Leave it. You leave the creature and move on. You spot a hop-eye nest, just like Tangent asked you to find. There are 9 eggs inside, all packaged up in what looks like a delicate spun glass cocoon. You don't see the parents. Steal some eggs. You break a little hole in the cocoon and put 3 of the eggs in your bag. They are a little gooey. You hope they don't break. You turn to leave and come face to face with an adult hop-eye. Understandably, it looks spit mad. It drums its powerful foot on the ground in warning, and 4 more pop out of the undergrowth and start hissing at you. You should have known these sociable little creatures raise their young communally. Use animal psychology. You've learned from the Holopedia that the 2 different sets of eyes in a hop-eye have different purposes. The large bulging eyes on top are hardwired for perceiving danger, but their small forward-facing ones are more concerned with finding food. If you're not food and you're not danger, you throw yourself onto your belly and wriggle away while the hop-eyes stare at you curiously. When you're a safe distance away, they return to poking at their violated nest in confusion. You're too worn out and tired to continue. You have to go home now. Rex is chatting with one of the young soldiers from the Helio, smiling wolfishly down at her with his hand braced above her head as she giggles. When she sees you coming, her smile drops and she beats a hasty retreat, avoiding your gaze. Rex turns, his confused expression melting away to delight when he sees you.
Hey, Soul!
He exclaims.
Some of the Helios are weird about being seen with me.
He continues, unbothered.
She'll be back.
I got you a present.
Ow!
Rex howls with happiness as he takes the mushwood from you.
You remembered my birthday and brought me the perfect stick for my collection.
spot Cal moving with purpose through the gardens. He stops and gives you a little wave.
Hey, Soul!
Where are you going? Cal shoulders the sack he's carrying.
I'm taking some food to Socks.
He replies.
Do you wanna come and see her?
You do! It's been a while since you've seen the old girl. You and Cal go out past the walls to the pen they erected for Socks. Socks trills when she sees you both, unfurling her great body from where it's curled around the post in the middle of the pen. Her harness and lead jangle as she slithers over to Cal and twines around him.
Hey, girl!
Cal croons as Socks sweeps him off his feet and onto the coils of her serpent-like body.
Are you hungry?
Socks vocalizes happily when Cal starts taking head-sized rocks out of his sack. He tosses them up to her and she snaps them out of the air, pulverizing them into a shower of gravel with her massive jaws. You even do a few as well, lurching Cal on her back as she cavorts around her pen chasing them.
Whoa!
Cal laughs, clutching to her fringe.
Easy there. It's a lot further down than it used to be.
Is it right to keep her tied up like this? Cal slips from Sock's back and stands with his cheek pressed against her chest.
I don't know.
He murmurs, stroking her scales. She purrs a bassy rumble you can feel in your guts.
It's better than letting her be killed, I guess, but it's kind of wrong that we're making her fight against other animals.
He sighs.
I don't know what to think, honestly.
Cal likes to spend the evenings outside in the garden with you. It stays warm for a long time out here, even after the last sun sets. It's still so different than the constant temperatures of the stratospheric. Living on board a spaceship felt like nothing. You never thought about the temperature or humidity at all. But the weather is always changing here. Always a little warm and humid, even in quiet. You find Tangent in engineering and set down the bag of squelchy, goopy hop-eye eggs. Her eyes go wide.
You found them?
She exclaims.
That's wonderful. I was beginning to think you'd forgotten all about my request.
She reaches for the eggs, but stops.
Wait, what is that sound? Are they?
They are. You hear a wet cracking sound coming from the bag. You're about to witness the miracle of life, for Tumnin style. What do? Just enjoy the magic. It's not every day you get to witness a new life being born. You and Tang watch in wonder as the gel-like shell of the largest hop-eye egg splits like a ripe melon in the sun, spilling out a tiny, squirming pink baby and a small puddle of amniotic fluid. You watch the last two eggs intently, but through the clear eggshells, you can't see any movement inside at all. Not even a heartbeat.
It's okay,
Tang says.
We only need one.
The tiny hop-eye is on its feet, well, foot, within minutes taking cautious little hops on the sleek surface of the lab bench.
Magnificent,
Tangent says, keeping the palm-sized hop-eye from falling off the table.
I expected them to be helpless at birth, like kittens or birds, not already moving around like an undulate. Incredible. I can't wait to study it.
I'm going to let it go.
You're going to what?
Tang deadpans.
After I specifically asked for you to bring it back for me?
She sighs.
You're the worst soul. But I suppose it's your decision. You did find it after all.
It's for the best. You never should have taken those eggs. Moni comes in with a training injury, a gouge that runs from her knee to her ankle. She hobbles in with a big smile.
This one's gonna be kick-ass.
She crows as you help her get into the med bed. The med beds are miraculous technology. Combined with genetic modifications made to your body, they can cure disease and make your cells regenerate quickly, repairing even the most mangled limbs. If it's still attached to your body, the med bed can heal it. For Moni, though, her genetic mutation means that instead of regenerating smooth new skin, she gets rough blue scales instead, much stronger than human skin. Moni flicks the dials on the control panel and fiddles with the angle of the lamp overhead.
Seriously, this thing is more comfortable than my bed.
It's worth more than the whole ship, too.
Instant snaps.
So don't break it.
Moni pulls her hands in with an awkward giggle. You connect to the medbed with your holopalm and see the interface and diagnostics there. It's a confusing mess of readouts and buttons. The user's manual is ridiculously obtuse. You ask Instance for help, but she just scoffs.
I don't have the time or the temperament to walk you through it. I learned how to use it myself, and so can you. Just don't break it.
Press the right buttons. It's really very intuitive. If you have half a brain for it, you figure out the machine with zero problems. The sun lamp turns on. The monitor says, "Please lie still for 2 hours." Moni groans.
It's gonna take forever.
She complains.
Stay with me a while?
You end up staying the whole time, keeping Moni company. You're catching up with Moni between her drills when she looks over your shoulder and frowns.
Noon's bloody apple.
She curses, seeming to shrink behind you.
She's here again.
You turn, and at the other end of the garrison, you can see a small crowd of young soldiers forming around Chief Steward Seedent. She's handing out lunch tiffins and dueling out hugs to anyone who comes within melee range, which is quite a few of them. You've noticed, just from hanging around the garrison, even some of the transplanted Helio soldiers have started calling her Auntie. This must be why.
She comes by every couple of days.
Moni grumbles.
Like we're still kids in the crash playing in her skirts. It's so disruptive.
Eventually, the crowd around Auntie Seedent thins. She makes it over to you and Moni. She greets you with a warm hug. She smells nice, like flour and yeast.
Hello, Soul,
she says.
Have you eaten?
Not yet, Auntie. She smiles fondly and hands you a tiffin, still warm.
It's important to keep your strength up, my love,
she says, and pats you on the cheek. Auntie Seedent turns to Moni. You can almost feel the temperature in the room drop several degrees as Moni stonily stares down at her mother. Auntie Seedent's smile grows thin, and she clutches the handles of her basket.
How about you, Annie? Have you eaten? Do you need...
Moni scowls and crosses her arms.
I'm fine,
she says, cutting off her mother.
Just like I was yesterday and last week. I don't need you to manage me.
If you're sure,
Auntie Seedent responds hesitantly.
It's a mother's job to worry, Annie.
She reaches out to lay her hand on Moni's scaly cheek, but Moni jerks backwards and slaps her hand away.
Oh yeah?
Moni retorts.
You just sit around and worry? Must be nice. I bet you'd like it if that was all I did too, huh? If I quit being a soldier and spent all day cuddling babies and wiping noses and fixing clothes like you did? Nice and safe in the crash forever?
Moni! But she's your mom! Moni turns her frightening scowl on you.
Stay out of this, Soul.
I've never thought that, Annie.
She says, laying her hand on her heart.
I worry because I love you, and I always will. I'm just doing what I can to keep you safe.
Love doesn't keep anyone safe!
Moni exclaims, raising her voice enough that some of the soldiers turn their heads to watch. Her thunderous expression convinces most of them to get back to their business. Moni clenches her fists.
Love didn't keep Con safe, did it?
She says, her voice breaking.
There's no amount of love or worry on this whole stupid planet that can do that. So you should just stop, okay? Stop or do something actually useful. I'm never gonna be like you. I'm gonna fight.
Oh no. Vace peels off from his unit and jogs over to stand beside Moni.
You okay, babe?
He asks, putting his hand on Anemone's shoulder. She covers it with her own and angles her body towards him.
Yeah, everything's just galactic.
Moni mutters.
My mom was just about to tell me again how much she wishes I would give up being a soldier so I could pop out babies and be safe.
Auntie Seedent sputters, trying to explain herself, but Vace beats her to it.
Anemone is an exemplary soldier, Chief Steward.
He says calmly.
I know it's hard for a mother to accept, but we're all much safer for her service to the colony.
He puts one finger under Moni's chin, talking directly to her.
And remember, Anemi, that we exist to protect people like your mother, to preserve the bond between parents and their children.
Vace gives Auntie Seedent a stiff smile.
If the stars align, one day we won't lose any more sons.
A soft "oh" escapes Auntie Seedent as she blots her eyes.
Oh, you are one of the good ones, aren't you?
She says, clearly trying not to cry.
Just walking in the footsteps of the good men and women who served before me, ma'am.
Vace replies.
We couldn't do it without you keeping the hearth lit for us. Speaking of, I'll take lunch, if you have any left.
Auntie Seedent laughs and hands him a tiffin from her basket, then goes up on her toes to give him a quick hug, over the shoulder. Vace shoots a cheeky wink at Moni, who rolls her eyes and snorts. You stumble upon another Squeeger Hive queen and her multitude of wriggling, oozing children. You're a little afraid of her acid, but that royal jelly looks tasty. Go around it. You come across a cluster of mushrooms. Are they edible? There's only one way to find out. Well, there are a few ways, if you're not a coward. Identify the mushrooms. You are able to determine that these mushrooms are edible. You fill your basket with big chunks of tasty fungus. Utopia is pleased with your haul. Great work! An absolutely enormous tree forms part of the path here. Its roots cut natural stairs into the path, and its magnificent canopy of large, flat leaves completely blocks out the sky. They arch overhead almost to the ground on the other side. Walking under it is like going through a tunnel. In the tunnel is dark and gloomy, unseasonably cold, and filled with the whispering of leaves. You get the sense that something is aware of your presence. Turn back. You've spent some time working in geoponics, so you know your way around a plant or two. Walking through this area, you notice something different about it. The bare ground feels bouncy, like a trampoline, and the plants all look weirdly stunted. Not a lot can stifle nature here, so it's honestly a little weird that there's no grasses or mosses growing here. Notice the strange spongy soil. You peer down at the oddly bouncy ground. It's pink and fleshy and... Wait, is it even ground? You kneel and take a closer look. More like a kind of dense moss or coral, maybe? You press a hand into the moist, squashy substance. It smells sweet and starchy, like cake. It blankets the ground here in a thick sponge-like layer, swallowing up everything it touches. Gross! But it smells so good. You dig a large chunk of the sponge cake up to bring back to geoponics. Further analysis is needed, but you have a good feeling about this one. This little gazebo is set up as a waiting area for the automated transporters which trundle back and forth between here and the colony. A sign reads, Autobus Depot, Valley of Vertigo. Attention, air filters mandatory in this zone. Fruit is abundant, but please identify species before harvesting as some species may object violently. Xenofauna may behave more aggressively in this area. Always approach wild animals with caution. You feel the weight of a pair of eyes on you as you approach Moni. Looking around, you see Vace staring at you with a suspicious expression.
Hey, Soul!
Moni says, greeting you with a smile.
What's up?
Here, I got something for you.
Cool, thanks!
Moni says, taking the egg.
I guess it is my birthday this week. I kinda forgot.
You're looking around for Cal when you overhear him, just around the other side of the geoponics dome.
For the last time, leave me alone!
Doesn't sound good. You get closer and find Cal facing down Rhett and Vace. They've cornered him, their body language calm and relaxed, while Cal's so angry he's almost shaking.
Cal, please listen to us.
Rhett says, spreading his hands.
We're not here to conscript you. I can't force you to join the army. All I'm saying is I need good, loyal, strong young men like you out there on the front lines.
Rhett smiles.
You're a good boy, Cal. I admire your passion for peace and your dedication to fighting for it. That's why I'm here, asking you to help me protect the colony.
Protect the colony?
Cal spits.
That's such a lie. You're not protecting anything. You're just slaughtering defenseless animals in their homes. It's disgusting.
Hey!
Vace retorts, taking a step forward with his fist raised.
Show some respect!
Cal squares up, like he's ready to take the hit.
For who?
He asks, voice sharp.
Psychopaths like you?
Vace roars and looks like he's about to take a swing, but Rhett holds him back with one raised hand. Vace slinks back to Rhett's side, glowering at Cal.
I can tell you need a bit more time.
Rhett says.
I just wanted you to know that my door is always open if...
Get lost.
Cal says, cutting Rhett off. Rhett looks surprised.
I'm not interested. I never will be.
Vace looks like he's about to lip off again, but Rhett speaks before he can.
All I ask is that you keep it in the back of your mind, Cal. When you come round, I'll be happy to talk about your options.
With that, they leave. Vace gives you a scathing look as they pass. Cal sits down heavily on the sack of fertilizer he must have been carrying before Vace and Rhett cornered him.
This isn't even the first time.
He mutters, his face in his hands.
They're really dead set on getting me to join the hunting parties. I told them I don't want to kill anything, and Rhett was like, it's okay. You can just tell us how to kill them.
He looks up, exasperated.
Like that's any better.
I wish they would leave you alone.
Me too.
Cal sighs.
They have a real messed up idea of what it means to serve the colony. Like who do they think grows their food? Ghosts?
Cal picks out a loose thread on the sack he's sitting on.
Man, this whole war is light speed stupid.
He mutters.
Lum and his people come crashing in here and think they run the place because they have bombs and guns, and nobody stops to think like maybe we're actually the invasive species here.
We need to live in harmony with nature.
I'm glad you agree.
Cal says.
I just feel like we just showed up and plopped ourselves right in the middle of the food web.
Cal continues.
And we didn't even think for a second about the chaos that would cause on the ecosystem. We owe it to this planet to do our best to try to understand.
Cal's shoulders slump in a sigh and he pushes himself to his feet.
Man, I wish I could still talk about this stuff with Anemone.
He says, slinging the sack of fertilizer over his broad shoulders again. You can see why Rhett wanted to get him in the defense force so badly.
I'll miss her.
Cal admits.
I'll miss that we used to be so close when we were kids.
He shakes his head.
But she's gone all human supremacist now, and I just can't stomach that, you know?
You've been studying the sponge cake you found out in the Valley of Vertigo, in that oddly squishy trampoline-y ground. As you suspected, it is a type of fungus. The analysis bench tells you it contains edible starches. Once dried and processed with a maturic agent, acidic spark snow would work nicely. It will make a wonderful flower. The challenge now is to cultivate it. It multiplies quickly, and you've seen how it stops anything else from growing near it. Plant it in a back field. You plant the sponge cake in a special field, quarantined on the other side of the geoponics dome from the rest of the crops. By the end of the month, you can already tell that it's taken root and will start producing viable food soon. You should get your first harvest during pollen, when the sponge swells up and is at its sweetest. Many of the earth crops grow through dust and need to be harvested before wet. This means the colony has more food available year-round. It's going to be an incredible boon. This year's Vertumnalia is ushered in with a big military band, horns and drums, supplemented by recordings of parade music from Earth. Governor Lum strides out of command on a grand red carpet and ascends to the stage to ruckus applause.
Thank you, everyone!
He calls out over the din.
Look at you! Look at this colony! Finally, truly united! All it took was a common enemy.
He declares.
I look at you, beautiful people. You strong people. You good human people. And I see a fire in your eyes. I see courage in your hearts. I see a colony that's ready to win. I see a colony that's here to stay. Vertumna, do you hear me?
He raises his arms and roars.
Do you hear me, Vertumna? We humans aren't going to hide anymore.
Lum gestures for Security Chief Rhett to join him on stage, then continues.
The original fugitive colonists got it wrong. In Roman mythology, Vertumnus was the god of cultivation, not of rampant, chaotic growth.
He clenches his hand into a fist.
We need to clear the field before we can plot it. Vertumna won't be safe for human life until the aliens are eradicated.
Rhett crosses his arms and nods his agreement. Maybe there's more to this plan than Lum is letting on. Lum descends from the stage and does a receiving line of handshakes and fist bumps. In the vacuum left by his presence, Chief Administrator Seeq takes the podium and clears their throat.
I want to announce that this will be the last year that festival contests will be held.
What? A sound of protest rises from the crowd, and near the front, Lum just shrugs theatrically and mouths, "Not my fault." Seeq looks down at him pointedly, then continues.
This war will use our colony resources at a tremendous rate, including the most valuable, time.
Lum takes the stage again and soothes the crowd.
I do have some good news,
he declares.
Starting today, the colony is going to be granting requests from people who want to have children.
A happy murmur burbles through the crowd.
Yes, that's right! It's time to start on the next generation of Vertumnans and secure a future for our children.
Lum pumps his fists in the air.
Humans! Humans! Humans!
Anyway, about this war on nature?
I think it's stupid.
Cal says immediately.
I know survival is important, but we don't have to kill things to survive here.
Marz rolls her eyes.
Duh, of course you'd think that.
She mutters.
Personally, I think Lum is a total nullhead. He's not that much older than me. What is he, like 24? And everyone listens to him?
She flips her hair over her shoulder.
They should listen to me instead.
Finally, you're all called up to participate in the games. The last ones, maybe forever. If this war on nature ever ends, you'll probably be an adult. As your friends all separate into their usual games, you realize that this may be the last time that you just get to be kids. What do you choose? Bake Off. You join Cal in the kitchens.
I tried to come up with a better plan than bake on, but I couldn't.
He sighs.
It's too good.
This year's theme is pie. You'll be responsible for forming a delicious flaky crust and a delectable filling. No soggy bottoms. Cal sits up straighter.
Wait, I've got it!
He cries.
Let's see who has what it bakes.
Get baking. Cal's pie comes out technically perfect, golden brown and flaky with a tart bobber fruit jelly. But the taste is kind of bland. Yours, on the other hand, is awful. Cal wins easily, even with just a so-so pie. After the festivities, everyone is supposed to take a few days vacation. You and your friends relax, but the adults move around the colony like ants in a hive, fortifying the walls and preparing for the human offense against the planet. You look over Nomi's shoulder and see that they're drawing a whole page dedicated to native autumnal plants. They look up at you and rub their cheek with the end of their pencil.
I know we're supposed to believe in Governor Lum,
they confess.
But, what if we accidentally hurt the planet? What if some of the super cool plants and animals die?
They look down at their page.
I just think it'd be really sad if that happened.
I have a present for you.
Ooh!
Nomi exclaims, making grabby hands at the pretty crystal.
Happy birthday to me! I can't believe you remembered! Thank you!
You're sometimes called to the field to help stabilize someone before transporting them to the medbay. You've seen compound fractures, partial amputations, mangled limbs, partial paralysis. The colony is a dangerous place. Cal and Rex are hanging out in the garden gazebo. You can hear their laughter echo through the garden long before you see them.
Hey, Sol!
Cal calls out to you, and Rex lifts his hand in a jaunty wave.
Rex told me he wanted my help burying his bone in the garden, but when we got here, he said he must have forgot it back in his room. Can you believe it?
Rex shoots you a long, suffering look and rolls his eyes. I found something you might like.
Oh, wow. That looks delicious.
Cal exclaims.
Thanks for the birthday gift, Sol. You know I love to eat.
You splice cuttings of plants with various other plants, feeling like a mad scientist. Humans used to do this even before they had Genetech. Just a bunch of generations of people smashing stuff together and hoping something cool happens. You've been invited to Cal's house for, as he puts it, a real grown-up party. When you arrive, Auntie Tirah gives you a warm hug and shows you inside, to where Cal set up the living room with little twinkling lights and lots of blankets. You You sit down at the table across from Cal, and Tirah pours you both a glass of mushroom wine. She leaves the open bottle on the table.
You kids can finish off this bottle if you like,
she says.
It's a good vintage, one of your dad's first brews, so a little on the strong side.
She winks.
I'll be out late,
Tirah says, kissing the top of Cal's head.
Holla at me if you need anything, but don't you two wait up for me, okay?
Wow, Auntie Tirah is cool. Cal smiles at you as you tuck into dinner.
I'm glad you could come.
He says.
Thought about inviting Rex, but he has like zero chill, you know? Besides,
he continues,
you're my BFF, remember? I can't think of anyone else I'd rather be with.
Cal puts his fork down and looks at you earnestly.
I'm really glad you're my friend, Soul. I'm so proud of everything you've done. Sometimes I think I really love you as a person, you know?
He looks down, suddenly shy.
Sorry, I know that's a lot. I'm just really grateful for you.
You and Cal share a wonderful dinner and polish off the bottle of wine. Afterwards, you settle into a big pile of blankets and lie back and look at the stars through the big skylight in his living room.
And so that's why I think we should domesticate more Unisaur. It just makes sense.
Cal finishes, and you laugh. He's right. Who doesn't want to ride a unicorn? You deserve a unicorn. You've been laughing a lot. Everything is just so funny and also so pretty. The stars look like they're swimming in a big, dark ocean, and the little twinkly lights Cal put up like stars you can touch. You reach out to grab one and come up hilariously short, and Cal giggles at you. Cal is warm and cozy against your side, and the blankets are so soft. Everything is wonderful. You're struck suddenly by the thought that the only thing that would make this better is if you were kissing Cal. What if you shared your first kiss under the moonlight? Just kidding. Unless... Do you make a move on Cal? Yes, now's the time. You push yourself up so that you're propped up on one elbow, leaning over Cal. He blinks up at you, slow and trusting, not even alarmed when you place your hand gently on his muscular chest.
Wow, that feels nice,
he says.
Everything feels so nice, you know.
You do know. You summon the courage to slide your hand up Cal's chest and over his throat, stopping to cradle his jaw. His stubble prickles under your palm. Now, there's question in Cal's eyes.
What's up, Sol?
How do you answer? Tell him you really want to kiss him. Cal's eyes go wide.
Oh, really?
He breathes out. His blush surges down his face, almost to his chest.
Sol, I...
Cal looks away.
A long time ago, I told myself I could never be with anyone. Not after Tammy. After she...
He swallows, wetly.
Sorry, that was a lifetime ago. I was just a dumb kid, too young to even really know what love was. I just feel guilty.
Cal wipes his eyes and looks up at the stars.
She would have wanted us to be happy, right?
You wait in silence while Cal struggles. Eventually, he smiles at you, shaky and sweet.
You do make me so happy, Sol.
You lean in to kiss Cal, and he inhales in surprise before relaxing into it and letting you kiss your fill of him. He tastes like smoke. Cal kisses like he does everything else, sweetly, earnestly, patiently. He runs his thumb over your cheekbone as you pull away to breathe.
Wow,
he murmurs.
You're so pretty, Sol. I'm so happy you like me too.
You kiss until you feel your eyes getting heavy, and you can't help but yawn into each one. You lie down next to each other, and Cal wiggles his arm under your head. He pulls a blanket over the both of you, cocooning you in comfort and warmth. As you tip backwards into sleep, all you feel is love. You sleep soundly in Cal's strong arms. Morning arrives unceremoniously, pouring through the skylight directly onto your face. You grumble as you turn your head away, burrowing into something that's soft and smells sleepy sweet. Oh, it's Cal! Your face is smushed into the soft skin of his armpit. His arm is curled around your shoulders, protectively, your legs tangled together under the blankets. Cal shifts underneath you and blinks his bloodshot eyes open, squinting into the merciless sunrise.
Dip.
He mumbles, clinging to sleep.
That's so much.
You can almost tell the moment when he remembers what happened between the two of you last night. His lips curve into a shy little smile as he leans down and kisses you.
Wow.
He says, full of awe.
I'm so glad I just get to do that now.
Before long, his mom pokes her head into the living area.
Hey kids,
She says, chipper.
ready for some breakfast?
Breakfast sounds incredible. You've never been more excited at the prospect of breakfast in your life. You share a breakfast of roasted trippet and eggs with Cal, his mom, and her 3 partners. Cal takes her hand under the table and blushes through all 4 of his parents affectionately teasing the 2 of you for finally sealing the deal. Even though the rest of the colony is in chaos, you feel somehow healed having taken the night to let yourself bask in their love. Cal is digging at the garden with even more passion than usual.
Stupid soldiers. Assholes.
He mutters, throwing weeds into a growing pile.
They think they're so important. Well, you know, it's harder to grow stuff than it is to kill it. Not that they would know.
He sighs and lets himself fall back into the dirt.
There's only a war on nature because we keep pissing it off.
He says, gesturing to the pile of green weeds.
We're an invasive species. Literally. We just gotta figure out our niche in the ecosystem, man.
Let's get out of here. Cal beams.
Yeah, of course. I can always make time for you.
You walk in the garden. You and Cal go for a walk through the gardens, arm in arm. Cal is an endless font of knowledge about the various plants and fungi that grow here, and how the specimens brought from Earth have changed since you arrived. You meander to the gazebo where you sit for a while and enjoy the fresh air. Cal's hand is warm and calloused in yours. He runs his thumb over your knuckles and gazes at you with love.
This is my favorite place in the colony.
He says, and kisses the back of your hand.
And you're my favorite person.
You see Marz reclining with her feet in a bowl of water, colorful goop on her face and slices of dust melon on her eyes. She lifts the dust melon off one of her eyes as you approach.
I can identify the clomping of your horrible boots while fast asleep, darling.
She says,
Are you still running around everywhere? It sounds exhausting. It's important to take care of yourself.
She settles the dust melon slice back on her eyes and smiles.
You should take notes.
I found something you might like.
Well, I've had better birthday gifts.
Marz sighs, rubbing one of the petals.
But this will look nice in my hair. Thank you.
You approach Marz, who's deep in negotiations of some kind with Tangent. When Tang sees you over Marz's shoulder, she points and says your name.
Thank you, Forces of Chances and Chaos.
Tang mutters, slipping away as Marz's attention turns to you.
She's your problem now, Soul.
Marz pretends not to hear her.
So,
She exclaims.
You're looking hideous today, darling. Luckily, I'm doing makeovers and fashion advice free of charge.
Alright, that's the thing we're doing now.
Come with me.
Marz says, directing you to her room.
I've been working on these designs for weeks. They're fresh off the printer, and I'm dying to see how they look on a regular person like yourself.
Marz's room is a riot of sparkling fabric.
My first fashion line is all about dressing for the seasons of Vertumna.
Marz says, as she ushers you inside.
Yellow and angular for dust, airy and pink for pollen, stuff like that. If we ever make it back to Earth, I want to be known as the visionary who brought Vertumna home.
That's a great idea. Marz shrugs.
I know.
Marz indicates the pile of outfits on her bed.
Well, what are you waiting for? Chop chop.
You try on outfit after outfit, letting Marz scrutinize your silhouette and bearing. She seems genuinely focused on how the clothing performs. Finally, you finish trying on all the outfits.
I think the glow jumpsuit is the winner. Go ahead and put it back on.
Marz instructs.
Then, we'll do your hair and makeup.
You sit on her bed as Marz pulls out her box of cosmetics.
A day look,
she says.
Or something more bold for nighttime.
Something subtle. Marz sighs.
Boring.
Marz does your makeup efficiently, then pulls out a bottle of bright blue nail polish.
One more thing and the look is complete.
Marz paints her nails, humming tunelessly while she works.
And voila!
She says when she's done. This was fun. Marz smiles and caps the bottle of nail polish.
And informative, I hope. Blue is definitely your color.
Even with the medbeds, the colony keeps a few medicines in stock. Mild painkillers and anti-inflammatories, vaccines, prophylactics for autumnal diseases, various drugs for anxiety and depression, anything that doesn't warrant tying up a medbed. There's also a collection of pastes, powders, and tinctures from native species. Dr. Instance is showing you how to inventory and restock the medicine cabinet. She picks up a tincture and regards it with distaste.
This is barbarism,
she complains, before handing it to you to stock.
When the machines finally break and leave us with this, the colony will be in real trouble. Medicine used to be an art, not a science.
She continues, her emphasis on the word art indicating her poor opinion of it.
Ointments and oils peddled by salesmen to people too ignorant and desperate to know better. Cutting people open with unwashed hands. Drilling holes in their heads.
Yes, and nobody needed their lifetime of hands-on experience or applied wisdom.
Congruence chimes in from a nearby monitor with what must be sarcasm.
Training in birth space and relying on medbeds is much more civilized.
Instance scowls with the weight of 20 years of resentment.
I wasn't trained as a medical doctor,
she retorts.
Of course you were,
Congruence coos, patronizingly.
I trained you myself.
Instance throws her hands in the air and turns to you.
I already had 2 advanced degrees when we left Earth,
she proclaims.
I was a published academic. They wanted someone who could fix humans. They should have brought along a physician, not trained one after the fact.
She scowls and starts restocking the medicine herself, shoving things wherever they fit.
I'm a biologist, a researcher. My defining quality is that I get things done. Don't expect me to smile about it.
Patients need to feel comforted. You think an important part of a doctor's job is to make them feel safe. It's scientific too. Stress and negativity have physical effects on people's ability to heal. Instance huffs and slams the door of the medicine cabinet.
Oh, look, it's Rex's little friend.
Vace says, crossing his arms.
Go on, impress me then. Why should I care about what you have to say?
Here, I have something for you. Vace cracks a small smile when he sees your gift.
Birthday cake?
He asks incredulously.
Do you think I'm a child? Am I supposed to blow out the candles and make a wish now?
You find Vace in the garrison lounge, holding court with a small group of young soldiers listening to him tell a story about his latest expedition. He's gesturing animatedly, with his arms and snarling like a beast.
And then I shot it out of the southern sky! Bam bam!
Vace finishes as you approach. The gathered crowd hoots and hollers for him, which he accepts magnanimously. Looking around, you see that it's mostly his Helio crew. You can tell from the uniformly close cropped hair and perfect posture. But there are some faces you recognize from the colony. Anemone is here and shoots you a little wave. Silently join the crowd. The prospect of interrupting Vace's one-man show is too agonizing to imagine. You slip into the crowd of listeners instead. Vace, however, doesn't seem like the type to miss much. His eyes land on you, and a wicked grin spills across his face.
Haha. Another one comes to pay tribute,
he says, gesturing to you. Everyone's attention pivots to where you're sitting.
You can tell when a colony kid enters a room.
Vace continues.
You all stink like animal shit and fear.
Vace's friends laugh, while the colonists look at each other and smile awkwardly, already not wanting to disagree with Vace. All except for Anemone, who joins in and laughs the loudest of all. Vace kicks out another stool from his table.
Come, sit beside the king.
He addresses you.
Maybe you'll learn something.
Looks like he wants to make an example out of you. You take a seat beside Vace. He crosses his arms and sits back, looking at you appraisingly. Whatever he sees in you makes him snort dismissively. You feel as if you failed a test. Your ears burn as the other teenagers from the heliopause pass judgment on you, and by extension, the rest of the colony.
The only thing this colony is good for is sport. I can't wait to get out there and shoot some aliens.
Vace says. He bangs on the table with his fist.
Those no-shits aren't gonna know what hit them.
You think you're a real hotshot, huh? Vace raises an eyebrow at you. He gestures to his, well, all of himself.
Obviously.
He sneers.
What do I have to be humble about?
One of his friends punches him in the arm, and Vace takes it with a cocky grin. You and Vace talk a while longer. Well, mostly he talks, while you and his friends listen. Eventually, the little crowd breaks up as people move on to their other duties. Vace says goodbye to all of the heliopause soldiers by name, and some of the colony ones too. Anemone lingers a little longer than the rest. He reaches out to her and they grasp forearms, and he pulls her down for a kiss.
I'll see you around later, babe,
he says. Anemone one-ups him, sliding into his lap and kissing him deeply.
Not if I find you first.
Vace laughs and swats her butt when she gets up to leave. Eventually, it's just the two of you left. Vace stands up and puts his hands on his hips, surveying the garrison, his kingdom.
All we did in the heliopause was train for this exact moment,
he says.
We were literally made for this. We are the best of the best.
He leans into your space and fixes you with a wolfish smile.
Which makes me the best thing to happen to this planet since it started shitting out oxygen. Don't you forget it.
Aunt Anne comes bursting into the kitchen carrying a large crate.
Special delivery, soul!
She sets the crate down on the prep table and sticks her hand inside.
It's time to do my favorite thing in the kitchen. Figuring out new ways to cook fresh food.
You grew up eating soy rations, tasteless but nutritious. The hydroponics aboard the spaceship never made enough to feed everyone, so fresh food was a luxury. Anne's always excited to try her hand at real cooking. With a flourish, she pulls from the box an alien plant you've never seen before. It's pale blue-green, oblong, and about the size of her forearm. It hits the cutting board with a disturbingly meat-like slap, and immediately starts oozing slime onto the surface.
Geoponics finally cleared this friendly little fruit for human consumption,
Aunt Anne says.
It doesn't even have a name yet. You could come up with something fitting while you figure out how to use it.
You look dubiously at the weird fruit. As you watch, it glops out a fresh wave of slime. Aunt Anne catches your disgusted expression and laughs.
The business of eating can really turn your stomach sometimes. Imagine, back on Earth, everyone used to eat meat from living things. This is a blessing, soul. Who knows what we can do with this little plant?
I don't think that's even edible. You give it a sidelong glance and cross your arms. No way. Nuh-uh. You're not putting it anywhere near your mouth. If Anne wants to try it so bad, she can figure out how to cook it.
This war.
Dis says, staring out into the wilderness.
It doesn't make any sense. What are we really fighting anyway? Nature? So when will it be over? When the planet is empty? Except for humans?
Dis shakes his head.
Sounds awful.
Does this interest you? Dis blinks owlishly at your gift.
Is it my birthday? I almost forgot. I hate it when people make a big deal about my birthday, but this is nice. Thank you.
Have you seen my delinquent brother?
Tang asks, already agitated.
He was supposed to appear for his vaccinations before leaving on expedition again. Dr. Instance messaged me like I am his keeper or some such nonsense.
She sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose.
I am done minding him. If he wants to cough up flower petals for 3 weeks or whatever else he mind is out there just waiting to infect us, he's welcome to muck around and find out.
Here, I have something for you.
It seems you've remembered my birthday. How thoughtful of you.
Tang says, accepting the flower with a dubious look.
I'll set this flower aside to analyze later. I am interested in the properties of all Vertumnan flora.
I hope you find it useful. She turns to walk away, then remembers herself.
Thank you.
She adds, almost as an afterthought. You've had a project going in the greenhouse lab for a few years now, splicing the genomes of plants from both Earth and Vertumna, trying to come up with a way to make Earth plants more likely to take root and flourish in the nitrogen-weak Vertumnan soil. Genetech has always been a part of your life. Everyone you know has some sort of genetic enhancement, and some have had a large-scale gene editing later in life, like Tangent's transition. You know it's possible, but your knowledge of Vertumnan genomes isn't as complete as the human genome. The trick is finding exactly the right Vertumnan genes to splice into exactly the right Earth plant. So, can you do it? Will today be the day you make that breakthrough? It's science time! You double-check Congruence simulations 100 times, and the results are always the same. A truly viable genome composed of genes from both Earth and Vertumna, and in every chemical simulation Congruence can run, it successfully takes root and flourishes. You look at the tiny, barely sprouted plants. This could be the beginning of a new era of agriculture on this planet. Too bad you didn't have this years ago, when you really needed it, but better late than never. May no future generations ever have to suffer like you did. You can't wait to take this knowledge and use it on other Earth plants. Strawberries, bananas, kiwis, all the delicate plants that need such careful tending in hydroponics, growing strong in Vertumnan soil, feeding the colony for generations to come. You wish your parents were here to see this. Congruence is proud of you, but it's not quite the same. You'll earn twice the kudos working in the lab from now on, and recognition of your contribution to the colony's continued survival. Cal reaches up and strokes on the native plants in the garden, its light reflecting onto his awe-struck face.
When we landed here, we didn't even know this was possible. What else don't we know about this place?
The geoponics domes are a comforting beacon of light during glow. While everything else is throwing off an unsettlingly alien light, the domes are stable, dependable, human. You like spending time in them, tending to the seedlings that will be transplanted into the fields and pollen. You're just putting your boots on to grab dinner in the lounge when you hear the colony's siren begin to wail. It's the yearly attack. Ugh, they couldn't have waited until after you ate dinner? Rude. Outside your window, you watch the colony defense begin to mobilize. Your holopalm chimes with the usual reminders for all civilian colonists to stay indoors. Shelter in your quarters. Governor Lum is so confident in the colony's defense these days that these aren't even designated emergency shelters, so your room is the safest place to be. You post up in bed and scroll through Congruence's media library, intending to wait out the attack here. You wait a long time. The sounds of fighting don't cease for hours, long past dinner time and well into the evening, then even past the usual changing of the guard. From your window, you can see plas rifle fire atop the walls, and the steady phew-phew of the laser turrets, bright flashes fighting back the gloom of glow. You want to stay up, but eventually it gets too late that you force yourself to sleep. After a fretful rest, you wake up to the realization that the colony is still under attack. In the perpetual twilight of glow, it's hard to tell the time, but your growling stomach knows it's well past breakfast and you missed dinner last night. While you're deciding what to do, your holopalm chimes with a priority video announcement. Governor Lum appears on your holopalm, looking surprisingly well-groomed.
Good morning, Vertumna!
He says with a calm smile.
As you may know, the colony is still engaged in battle against the alien threat. The walls are holding strong, and our soldiers keep mowing those Xenos down. But there is no sign of stopping yet. All non-combat personnel are to continue to shelter in place, while our brave soldiers defend the colony. Non-essential work is suspended. Meals and other supplies will be brought door to door.
He clenches his fist.
Stay strong, Vertumna. We'll weather this siege together.
As he signs off, the colony's social media lights up with conversation. Marz and Nomi are excited to skip work and watch holovids. Tangent is frustrated she can't go to the lab, and concerned for her experiments. Cal's worried about the fields. Only Vace and Moni are silent, probably because they're still out there fighting. In the permanent dusk of glow, the day seems to drag on forever. Again, you have to force yourself to sleep with the sound of gunfire drifting through your windows. When you wake up the next morning, you realize you can't stomach another day of being cooped in your room. Your anxiety has congealed into boredom. Moni and Vace are either fighting or sleeping, and you haven't heard from Dis in days. You bet your other friends would appreciate a visit, though. Join Cal. Cal and his family are sheltering together in their quarters. He peers out the window.
I hope Socks is okay,
he says quietly.
I hope she doesn't have whatever it is, making all the other animals so aggressive during glow.
He sighs and rubs his face in frustration.
This wouldn't be happening if we just tried to understand them. I know there's a way we could live in harmony with the planet. I know it. I've seen it.
Eventually, you manage to coax him into playing a holo game to pass the time. But he doesn't really feel like talking. 4 more days pass, and you and your friends remain trapped indoors, forced to listen to the constant sounds of laser fire and rattling turrets from all around the colony. The Xenos never manage to breach the walls, but they just keep coming. Exhausted guards cycle on and off the walls in shifts, dead-eyed and listless. You catch a glimpse of Moni mechanically shoveling soy porridge into her mouth before seeming to fall asleep sitting up. Finally, after the 6th day of the siege, you hear a curious sound. Silence. You run out into the colony square to see the soldiers returning from their posts. It's over! Your holopalm lights up with a priority announcement from Governor Lum.
The alien attackers have been defeated,
he says.
The siege has ended.
Lum smiles broadly and puffs out his chest.
Another year, another win. You're welcome, Vertumna. You're welcome, humanity.
You're welcome?
And see Chief Rhett nearby, looking livid.
What did he do?
He rants to his security officers.
Race out there like an idiot with his honor guard, defend strategically unsound positions, put himself in danger, so we had to save his overstuffed ass.
The soldiers all shift uncomfortably, but no one disagrees.
And when I actually needed him,
Rhett continues,
taking his 12-hour beauty rest while the rest of us slogged through endless shifts.
The soldiers are exhausted from the siege, so the crowd in the squares disperse quickly. Only a few Helios remain, covertly filming Rhett while he continues to rail against Lum. On the horizon, the first rays of quiet streak the sky with lavender. You watch Utopia's reclamation crew head out through the gates to begin vaporizing Xeno corpses for their component molecules. That night, you have terrible dreams. You imagine that you're sieging the colony, that you're a creature crawling in the mud on your belly, the ozone crackle of blast rifle fire arcing overhead. With your taloned claws, you rip into the walls like they're made of clay, stuffing choking handfuls of it in your mouth. In a moment of lucidity, you try to pull the clay from your throat, but no matter how hard you pull, it just never ends. You jolt awake when you realize you've been pulling your own guts out of your throat. Just a dream. You're shaking and coated in a film of terror sweat, your heart pounding. You don't find sleep again before dawnbreak.